We're rolling.
Thanks, David. All right, I'd like to call to order the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of March 23rd, 2021 I have 7:06. It's a web-based meeting. First on our agenda is a public hearing continued, Infinity Enterprises LLC, site plan special permit 25 Francis J. Clark Circle.
Somebody has to start to record.
I'm sorry. Bob, what did you say?
Start the recording.
It's
The recording is on, Bob.
All right, and who is here now to speak to this application?
Ron Wolf, professional engineer, representing the applicant Infinity Enterprises. Would you like me to begin?
Yes, you can begin.
Okay, so since the previous hearing, we've received comments from Wright Pierce regarding the application. We provided a response letter back with a set of updated plans, and just today we received a review letter back, I believe indicating that everything had been addressed or acknowledged. There was one item that was for consideration by the commission, and that was regarding the ledge excavation and the requirement of a pre-blast survey. I believe that's something that Wright Pierce wanted the commission to discuss. And at the last hearing, there was also a request by some of the commissioners, I guess, to add some additional plantings to the new parking area that was constructed at the lower building. And we just wanted to show a picture, if we could share our screen, of the plantings that were installed, just to make sure that the commission was aware of what was installed.
Screen sharing is enabled, Mr. Wolf.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we have a photo that we took just showing the new parking lot and the trees and the hedgerow that was planted. Obviously, they will need some time to grow, but there are 3 trees that were planted and this row of hedges, which will, mature in a few years and fill out and provide some more screening to that parking area. If everybody could see that photo looking down at Francis Clark Circle from the existing parking lot, if everyone is familiar with that. And just regarding, most of the comments were technical in nature. There were some comments pertaining to landscaping. We added a legend to the site plan, a landscape table indicating the species and the quantities of landscaping items to be installed. And I can go over the comments one by one if the commission desires.
At this point, Pat, if you don't mind, I don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
Wright Pierce was pretty well established as far as their acknowledging everything, all the changes that have been made in regard to the plan. In
Okay.
regard to the blasting and pre-blast surveys and things of that nature, the commission is very knowledgeable and very well aware that that is handled through the fire marshal's office.
Correct.
And he makes the final determination on those items.
I did have a question. Was it determined what to do about the address?
That will be decided in-house,
Okay.
and
perfect,
that's done by the building official and the fire marshal.
perfect. Thank you.
One item to note is that we were at our wetlands meeting last night. The application wasn't approved yet, but the commission had indicated, requested a motion of draft approval for their next meeting in April.
Okay. Beth, is there anything else we should know before I move out to commissioner questions or comments?
Not at this point, no.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll move out to commissioner. Kitty, do you have any questions or comments about this application? Kitty, are you on mute?
Yes, she is.
Kitty, you're on mute.
Yes,
No,
no, I just saw that. No, I think all of my questions have been answered.
Okay,
And I'm
thank you. Bob Legnard,
No, I'm good. Glad to see the expansion going.
Penny,
No questions, thank you.
thank you, Penny. Linda,
No more questions. Thank you.
Rob Wallace,
No questions here, thanks.
and I have no questions either. So Beth, any other comments or can I close this meeting?
I would suggest that you close the hearing, yes.
Okay, all right, if we're all in agreement, so I can't see hands for everybody. So I'm in agreement, we should close it. Kitty,
Yes. that you were
Bob,
Fine.
Penny,
Hi,
Ken,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Okay, this application is closed. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Moving on, our business meeting minutes of 3/9, and I'm going to seat Linda for John, and I'm going to seat Rob Wallace for Rich Tibbetts. Has everyone had an opportunity to read the meeting minutes? If so, if I may have a motion.
I move that we accept the meeting minutes from March 9th, 2021.
Thank you, Penny.
Second.
Was that you, Ken?
Yes.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Thank you. Next on our agenda is a work session for Victoria Heron, Tracy Castelli. Site plan 8-30G, additional 5 units, total of 11 units, 28 South Street.
At the last meeting, you closed the hearing. There was a few minor technical things that we just wanted to square away with engineering, and I still am waiting for a final approval or comment from the fire marshal. I know it's coming. He just hasn't had time to prepare. Oops, excuse me, I'm sorry. Somebody was trying to get in.
it was Mr. Trinkus, Beth. I just admitted.
Okay, all right, great. So anyways, now's your opportunity to discuss the merits of the application.
Okay. I had a question. I just wanted to know if the dumpster issue was resolved.
The property owner at the last meeting specifically stated that she would work with the health department
Mhm.
in resolving that.
And she
Okay,
was
but we
also
don't
going to
have any
go to the,
feedback
I
on that
believe
yet.
I believe Attorney Marcus is here.
Yes, he is.
Maybe he can verify what I just told you to give you a comfort level.
Neil?
A second. Yes, good evening,
Hi.
or afternoon here in Crested Butte, Colorado. I'm working remotely this week. That's
Very
by the way,
remotely.
for those of you who want to get here, it's 2,133 miles of driving.
My
It-
God.
And I did it in 2 days. But anyway, but back to, what's that, Bob?
Watch out for the snowboarders.
Yeah, you got that one.
Right.
But the answer to your question is that we've agreed to modify the enclosure to satisfy the health department's requirements.
Okay,
That is correct.
thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Kitty, comments or questions?
Well, we did have several things that needed to be addressed, and I believe they all were addressed. And the owner did say that she was going to talk not only to the health department, but to the people next door about the plantings. And I thought she was very upfront about that. And every question I had, I think has been answered, so I'm good.
Thank you. Bob Legnard?
Maybe Attorney Marcus can answer this one. Has all the legal issues that were brought up by the other attorney of the adjoining property owner been ironed out?
Oh, for the water, yeah, that's what he did.
Yes, I talked to Charlie Hallis, the attorney, and our client has talked directly with the other owner, and Steve Trinkus has also, I think, had some discussions. We're all set. Charlie Hallis told me there are no issues, and I
Okay.
can believe him.
And I think this is a good place to put the affordable housing is downtown where it's, it's close to all the amenities that are available downtown, sidewalks, et cetera. That's all.
Thank you. Penny?
No questions. They've all been answered. Neil, glad you got there safe and sound. Love to the family.
Thank you, Penny. Thank
Ken?
you.
All my questions have been answered. It looks like a good project.
Thank you, Ken. Linda?
Yeah, it sounds like all the issues have been addressed, so thank you.
Rob Wallace?
I have no questions here. Thank you.
All right, Beth, do you need motion from us or just a consensus to send this forward?
I'm looking, right now, it would just be a consensus of all the commission members if you are
Write up something
thinking
for
about making a decision in regards to this.
Does everyone agree that we can send this forward? I'll have to, again, reach out because I can't see everybody. Kitty?
Yes, I think we should move forward. I think we should have Beth.
Yes, moving forward.
Ken? Penny?
Yes, please.
Ken?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes,
Rob Wallace?
Yes.
And I say yes as well. You have the consensus.
Thank you.
All right, next
Thank you.
on our agenda is Oakwoods LLC Draper, review of proposed appeal settlement, revised site plan, 9 Good Hill.
David, could
So
you,
who will be speaking to this? Neil, is this yours?
David, could you share your screen with Mike Mizuko, please?
Yeah, this is mine. And
Okay,
Mike Mizuko is also on the line, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Screen sharing is enabled for you, Mr. Mizuko.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tonight's purpose, before you get too far into it, Pat, purpose of tonight's meeting is to enable Mr. Mizuko and Mr. Draper and Attorney Marcus to review the proposed site plan revisions that have been made in regards to possibly settling this out.
Correct, correct.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen.
It's enabled for you.
Are you seeing it?
yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, for the record, Mike Mizuko, professional engineer representing the applicant. And just wanted to go over the changes that we made. Then the biggest change was the reduction of the project from 11 units to 6 units. And it was originally in 1 building. It is now in 2 buildings, as you see. The reduction in number of units obviously caused a reduction in the amount of parking needed. So that area is smaller. We were able to propose a rain garden for stormwater management as opposed to the galleries that were under the parking lot originally. And much smaller area because there's less impervious surfaces. We also reduced the width of the driveway from 24 feet to 20 feet. And we also eliminated a lot of the lighting that was along the driveway out to Good Hill and just concentrated on lighting for the parking lot. We took away the high post lights that we had. We had 2 of them and we eliminated those and just used some smaller post lighting and building mounted flood lighting like you would see on a typical house. And we orientated the buildings to take advantage of some recreation space directly behind each unit. And there was a concern about the way the building originally was orientated in having activity out near the vernal pool. And so we tried to reorientate it and get that projected away from that area. We also eliminated the proposal to extend the water main from Taylor Avenue. And we're now showing just 2 Ls one to service each building. And I'll just go to the site utilities. And there was that one concern about the pipe under the building. So with the reorientation, we're able to just get that out along the back side of the building to get that water that was collecting on the west side of the buildings, similar to the original plan, but we don't have to go underneath the building now. And so we have a little 4-bay area for the rain garden, and we have a planting plan for that. All the roof drainage will dump into the rain garden, as will the runoff from the driveway and parking area. The stormwater management system for the end of the driveway towards Good Hill pretty much stayed the same. There wasn't enough room to create a rain garden there with the elevations. So that pretty much stayed the same. And there was a reduction in the amount of retaining walls as a result of the narrowing of the driveway. And so we only have some limited amount of retaining walls as opposed to the other one, the previous plan. We still have a little wall along this area here. And the main reason for that is to get the grades to be able to form the ponded area for the rain garden here. So I think that's really the gist of the changes that were made.
There were a couple of comments in the Wright Pierce memo.
Sure.
Clarify if a retaining wall is proposed next to the dumpster pad.
There's just on the corner of it, just because we had pushed that back just to make enough room for the aerial fire truck to be able to back in there with a 1-point turn and get out. So there is a small retaining wall off that corner. Yeah, I haven't responded in writing yet to that letter. I was away for a few days, but I will get to it within the week.
Okay.
Mike, do you have a height for that retaining wall? Approximately?
I can tell you, it's probably about 3 feet.
Yeah, it's a pretty small wall, as I recall.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe 4 feet at the corner there, but 16, 5, 14, 5, 13. Yeah, it's maybe it's less than 4 feet.
Yeah, it's not a massive, I don't want to leave the impression with the commission that it's a massive wall. It's pretty short.
Yeah, it's much less than the previous plan. And I did modify, go back to site plan, because I left those profiles on there and just adjusted accordingly to the new revised plan. So.
Excellent.
All right.
Pat, did you say there was more than one comment you?
Yeah,
There's
there was another. I've never lived near a rain garden. What is done to protect it from children accidentally getting in there?
Well, most of the time, the rain garden will be dry. It's just in storm events, you'll have some water until it gets to the outlet control device. And then a heavier storm event that'll start to release water out to I'm trying to get to that, but oh, there we go. So right here, we have an orifice at 513. And the bottom of the rain garden is 512. So when you get a heavy rainfall event, it'll fill up approximately a foot and then it'll start to drain out. And as the storm event gets larger, the rest of the rain garden will fill up more. But then as soon as it stops or it's receding, it'll continue to flow out that orifice until it gets to 512 at that point, or 513. At that point, the rest of it will drain and percolate and infiltrate into the ground for that remaining 1 foot.
Okay,
But it's only temporary.
okay. And
Mike,
I'll just
again, to
ask-
help
sorry.
answer that question, at its deepest time, at its deepest point, what would the water be, the depth in the heaviest rainstorm?
Well, right here, you see this call out here. I have the emergency spillway at 514.8, so it would be 2.8 feet.
2.8 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, Pat, without being a derogatory to all those people who have created rain gardens, when we were younger, we used to call them large puddles because that's essentially what they are. They are planted puddles. They serve a purpose. I don't want to demean them, but they never get really deep. They are meant to be very shallow collections of water.
Plus the importance of cleaning it out on a regular basis.
I'm sorry, Bob, what did you say?
Well, part of a rain garden is to keep it cleaned out
Yes.
of debris, et cetera, to keep the water to go where it's supposed to go.
The water can flow.
Right, and that's one of the reasons why, Bob, we put this 4-bay area here, because we tried to direct all the water into this area where we have just a gap in the curb. And that was another comment by Wright Pierce about just washing in there, but I can add some either a skip curbing or even just a couple of bollards there that'll allow the water. We can put some riprap protection in there just to get the water into that 4-bay area, but that will allow accumulation of sediments before it gets into the actual rain garden itself. And it's an area that's close to the driveway where you can get in there and just scoop it out and clean it.
Okay, just one last question, and others can ask some of the questions from Wright Pierce if they choose to. He said, please provide stormwater orifice details for the rain garden outlet pipe and the inlet pipe for MH number 2.
Well, I have a call out for the orifice here. I'm not sure, what more he's looking for, but
Okay,
I'll address that. And then you said it was a manhole 2?
yes,
Well, again, we just have a pipe inlet coming into that manhole. It's just to pick up the water. That's not an outlet control device there going into manhole 2.
okay,
That's just picking up water. So there is no orifice detail there. It's just a 6-inch pipe that's going into that.
oh, and I apologize, he did said they recommend an additional item to the maintenance schedule for maintenance of plantings in the rain garden and 4-bay area.
Correct. I will add that item to the maintenance schedule.
Okay,
Yep.
all right, moving on to other commissioners. Kitty,
I don't have any questions right now. I'll be back in a minute.
Bob Legnard,
This plant is still going to hook up to the sanitary sewer, right?
That is correct.
And the wells are located separately
the-
for each building, I believe you said, right?
Right. So we have the 2 wells off of the western end of the building. And if you look closely at the building, you'll see a little bump out on each end. So that's going to be an area for mechanicals for the water tank and things like that.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's all.
thank you, Bob. Penny,
No questions yet. I want to listen first.
Ken,
2 questions. On the driveway coming in, I remember in the past, we talked about a series of conifers or arborvitaes to provide some blocking on the uphill side. Is that still going to happen?
Yes, that's still occurring here.
Okay. on the other plan that you were showing, you had a real big blue line that said RA. Could you tell me what that's for?
That's just a regulated area line, which is 100 feet from the wetland resource on the north. And then you've got that vernal pool to the west. So you have 2 RA lines. So everything within those RA lines are regulated activities with regard to inland wetlands.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Just to comment further on that, Ken, those regulated activities were approved on the prior approval, though it does go back for a second review by wetlands.
Yeah,
Right.
no problem.
And we did submit, and I believe they accepted it at the meeting last night, and I'm just waiting to hear back about setting a public hearing.
Mr. Mizuko, we can cut that off, or we can address that at right now. The Inland Wetlands Commission accepted a modification to their previous approval for a site plan review, which will commence at their next regular meeting on April 26th
As a public hearing?
as a site plan review.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Mike, I don't think, Mike, unless there's a petition by 25 people to the Wetlands Commission, they're not required to have a public hearing unless they find a significant probability of an impact on wetlands and watercourses. And I've had some discussions with Chuck Anders about that. And I believe it wasn't finalized because the commission, as David says, will take it up at their next meeting. But there's a good chance that it will not require a public hearing because what we're doing is significantly less.
Right. Oh, so I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree. That'd be great. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Impact should be less, right?
Much less.
Impact of the site should be less based on downsizing of the project.
It is,
Correct.
Linda
I have no questions, thank you.
and Rob Wallace.
No, I have no questions about the plan at all.
Thank you. If I could just make a comment,
Oh, okay.
I was just gonna make a comment that, I don't know if you've decided on a color scheme yet, but I just want to mention how nice Mr. Draper's Worcester Street house looks. The colors are very nice. The siding is very nice. And if that could be given consideration for 9 Good Hill, it would make a very lovely development.
I'm
If
going
you
to
have a
answer
question-
that, Pat. I'm going to answer that on Tim Draper's behalf, and he may kill me for doing it, but I agree that with your suggestion, I think I can convince him. I think so.
Wonderful, wonderful. Kitty, you had a question?
Just one quick, because everything else has been answered. The retaining wall in between the 2 properties, that, as I remember it, Mike, that was a very short wall as well.
That's correct. Originally, we had the wall along here for the parking
Right.
lot. And
And why is it still there then?
it's there because I needed to raise the grade along here
Oh, for the
to
rain
be able to
garden?
get this rain garden.
Right, okay. And what is the height of that wall?
Let me go to the,
Originally, I think it was 3 or 4 feet.
yeah, right in the corner, you're at 5, and at the end, you're a foot.
Okay, so
It's meant to belong
it
there.
slopes.
So, yeah, it goes 1 to 5 feet, and then it turns the corner a little bit, and then
Yeah, I see
we
that.
can go into grading as opposed to the last time we had, I think the wall was 6 feet high for a long distance along the northern.
Oh, over there, yes. I
Yeah.
remember that, yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That was all I had.
I just had one last question. So with the change in lighting, nothing is going to impact Mr. Teague's property, is that correct?
No, much less impact in terms
Oh,
of.
the
the
gentleman next door too, yeah.
Yeah, because we took the lighting off along the driveway in this area. The only thing we have is, we have a light here by the mailboxes, a post light. And then another one just here for this walking area. And then just building mounted lighting off each
Of course.
front corner of the building. So
Right.
here, and this lights up the dumpster area. And so much less light.
And it's all downward facing lighting?
It is.
Okay, thank you. Beth, what do you need from us on this? Because aren't we going to have to go to a public hearing now for the new development?
Okay, there's a few things I just want to cover before we get to that discussion. Can you go to the landscaping plan, Mike?
report.
Do you have a landscaping plan? Where it shows the trees and,
Yeah, I'm trying to get there.
okay. And the reason I'm asking him to bring it up is just to show you some of the enhancements that were made in regards to the landscaping. And also to review some of the other items that have been under discussion with Mr. Draper. And that is, and Neil, you can correct me if I don't have this correct, but you'll notice that there are some encroachments by the Teague property into Tim's property. And it's my understanding that Tim, in conversations, we had a meeting out there about 2 weeks ago. He has agreed to give that property to the Teagues. Also, to the rear of the Teague property at, I want to say it's the well, anyways, where it starts to, thank you, around the 412, 414, and Tim is on this call, so he can correct. They're proposing to work together. They were talking about a 6-foot stockade fence. Mr. Teague was talking about maybe something a little bit more, and he would contribute to it, but it's my understanding that they've worked out some type of a fencing agreement in conjunction with this proposal. And you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Beth, Tim is on the call, so I'm going to ask him to confirm it personally. But again, my understanding is what your understanding is, that they have decided to work together because again, this plan that's before you addresses. We never expect to make a neighborhood completely happy, even if we're building a 2-family house. That's just the nature of the business that we're in, planning and development. But this plan goes a long way in addressing the neighborhood concerns, and particularly Mr. Teague's concern about the scope of the buildings, so that these 2 buildings that are being built are going to look very residential and much more like the neighborhood that was objecting to the larger scale building. So we've done all that, and as a result, I do believe that Tim and Teague have had some discussions on how to make improvements to their mutual satisfaction. Tim, if you're on the line, is that fair? A fair presentation?
Yeah, Beth, what you said is correct.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, so the next step, if the commission is so inclined, would be that we will have to work out the final verbiage with the settlement pertaining to 9 Good Hill Road with our council. But more importantly, we have to, as a courtesy, we have to have a public hearing. We will be responsible for notification of the adjacent property owners within 100 feet. And I would suggest a scheduled date for April 13th. And then,
All right, if I may have a motion from
wait,
someone?
excuse me 1 minute, Pat. I just wanted to finish my
Oh,
thought.
I'm sorry, go
So
ahead.
you guys are, we're all on the same page. And then I was thinking that you're going to have a public hearing. That's where you will hear from the neighbors, of course, and then make your final resolution to give to Attorney Andrus on the 23rd, I think it is. We're in April, the last meeting in April. David, when is your meeting? April what?
For wetlands, April 26th, Beth.
Okay, then we're April 27th, I believe. And then we can finalize this and let the lawyers do whatever they have to do with the court.
Beth, what you've described is similar to the conversation I had with Chuck. The only difference was that if the commission felt that they could act at their next meeting, it would just move it up all by a couple of weeks. This is a settlement of litigation, so you really don't have to wait for the Inland Wetlands Commission to act because it's a settlement. It's not It's not an approval of a new application. So it's slightly different, but what you've described is similar. We were trying to hopefully save 2 weeks at the end if we can. If we can't, we can't, but we'll try. You and I will, with the commission's permission, work with Chuck on arranging the formalities of getting the case settled, which is what we're trying to do.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Beth, so can we move now for a motion for a public hearing for April 13th?
The 27th, I think she said.
I think what you should do first is to come to a consensus that you are in agreement with the proposed plan that's before you.
Okay. Again, I'll move out because we can't see everybody. I agree. Kitty?
I agree.
Bob Legnard?
I agree.
Penny?
I agree.
Ken?
Yes.
Linda?
Abstain.
And Rob Wallace.
Agreed.
All right, Beth, you have your consensus?
Okay, and then, so then I would schedule a public hearing to be held on April 13th.
Not the 27th?
No,
Okay,
April 13th,
okay.
to review the settlement agreement with, what is it, Oak Ridge?
Mhm.
Oakwoods?
Oakwoods
Oakwood.
LLC. Draper, 9 Good Hill Road. How's that, Neil?
And you might add pursuant to CGS 8-8N,
See,
and then you'll be completely covered.
Thank you.
Okay.
I didn't get that number.
That's CGS. Did you get that, Nance? I wrote it down. I'll give it to you.
Pursuant to section 8-8N.
It's a
Yep.
small end, small end.
Thank you.
Second,
Okay.
So there's your motion.
second that.
But who made the motion?
I'll
I
make-
can't make a motion.
Penny made, okay, Penny's making the
Okay.
motion. Bob is seconding.
Let Penny make some motions.
Who seconded that? Sorry.
Bob,
Bob,
So we have Penny and Bob.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor?
aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Now, do we want to do April 27th, referring this to Chuck?
No, Chuck and I will be talking on the phone.
Okay,
tomorrow.
perfect. All right, good. All right, we're finished. Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your vacation, Neil.
Thank you, and I do appreciate your handling this. It's a good result for everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. All right, moving on to new business, Ortiz re-subdivision, 117 Chestnut Ridge Road. Beth?
This is a re-subdivision by statute. You have to have a public hearing. I would make a suggestion that you schedule the public hearing for the 13th of April and refer it out. It's a 2-lot subdivision,
Right.
very small in nature. Refer it out to your departments for review.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to schedule a public hearing for April 13th for Ortiz, re-subdivision 117 Chestnut Ridge, and to send it out to the appropriate people.
second.
Thank you, Bob. Any discussion?
Uh,
Hearing none. All those in favor?
a question.
Aye.
Bob has a question.
Bob has a
Oh,
question.
sorry.
This is a re-subdivision, am I correct in assuming?
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
I just wondered why, when I first saw it appear, I wondered why it wasn't just a free split, but it is a re-subdivision. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, again, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Moving on to planning and zoning official report.
I don't know what to tell you. We're very busy in the office. A lot of planning going on. The restaurants are open. We are, I think I told you, and just shake your head if I'm repeating myself, even though the governor's orders may have been lapsed, we are extending the open outdoor dining till November 1st this year, because we feel that they still have to maintain the 6-foot distance within a restaurant. And this is a way to continue to help them. And I think it's important that we do that for the next 12 months.
Good point.
Agreed.
And, Matt, the first selectman agree. I was hoping you guys would agree.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I just think it's very important
Oh, yeah.
to support them.
Especially
And I will
because we
tell
have
you-
no idea what's coming down. I mean,
Exactly.
Europe seems to be having a third wave, and there are different reasons, but let's protect our people here. Yeah.
I will also mention along those same lines, you'll notice, we have some residents that are really into signs, get the signs off the streets, the sandwich signs, things of that nature. I will tell you that as far as enforcement of that, if it's one sign saying we're open for chicken sandwiches today or something like that, along those lines, I am not going to remove them.
No.
Because I will tell you, we had one instance this past year that taught me a lesson. And it was this one person who felt his little 10 by 20 sign was the only thing that was going to keep his business open.
Oh, well then that's.
And that's not true. But it was making them feel better having this little sign in front of their business. So I mean, I'm not going to argue over something as minute as that.
Well, thank you, Beth. In times like this, I think cooperation between all of us and for you is really important to our businesses. Too.
It is. It really is.
Take
You
care
know,
of the major
the
problem
downtown.
first.
Excuse me, Bob?
Take care of the major problem first.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. That's my focus. That's been my focus.
Of course.
And I'm just reviewing all the paperwork resolved with that. And we'll probably be taking action next week by serving.
I apologize. You're talking about businesses downtown and signs?
Yeah, I was talking about businesses and signs. That Bob
Right,
was,
but I meant downtown specifically. Is that what Bob was referring to?
no, Bob was referring to another matter,
Okay.
the little corner thing that we've been
Right.
with.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Right.
Just update us when you can.
I will. When I have action taken, I'll send you a copy of the paperwork that's involved with this. So you'll see it's just sad and it's very difficult in this instance.
Yeah, because I noticed the tent is open on one side and
Yeah. I go down,
exposes whatever's in there to the elements.
whenever I go down there a couple of times, and a few people are keeping an eye on it in case they do see someone going in there to, so I can go down there and talk to them, because that's one of the requirements with a blight ordinance.
Okay.
Okay?
Good.
Hey, warm weather's coming, the sun is shining, it's good. It's all good. And
We ate outside today and it was nice.
Oh.
and that's all I have for you this evening.
Thank you.
And
Commission comments.
No, not for me.
And do we have any public input?
I have a
yes,
question.
Penny.
for Beth, I have a question. You had mentioned last time in passing about what will soon be the old food bag at the corner of Chestnut. Is there anything that we need to be aware of?
Alyssa is still reviewing it, the proposal. And as soon as I have her comments, I'll let you know.
Okay, great. Thank you.
But she's still reviewing it. Nothing's going on now. If we could just get rid of that canopy, but we know we can't.
Yeah, no.
All the windstorms we had didn't blow down.
No, no, very sad.
They
All
hope
right.
it will.
That's all I have for you this evening, unless you guys have anything else.
No.
All good?
Happy spring.
If I may have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Hi.
Hi.
Bye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Happy
Bye,
spring.
everybody.
Thanks all.